Welcome back, NoDQ Galaxy, to a brand new edition of the NoDQ review number 228. I am Virtue, being joined by this week's elite panel of the NoDQ review. Aaron Rift, as always. Walter Cruz is back, and Jerry Slaughter in the house. And we're fresh off the heels of a review that did 2,000 plus views last week. So about time we got back on track, and hopefully we can do that again. Gentlemen, what's up, Jerry? I'll start with you. You haven't been on for a couple of weeks. What's up?
2,000 views, man. That's pressure. That's a big follow up to do. But yeah,
I want it to be more. We used to be back in the day. It was like 3,000 views. But
I know, and you'll get back up there, eventually. I'll hopefully help with that. But yeah, right. Meet the other demographic. It'll be great. But yeah, I've just been working a lot and made a couple trips up to Chicago, Wisconsin. I've just been out and about doing stuff, but I've been keeping tabs on what's been going on with the WrestleMania build, and I have a lot to discuss with this one. So yes, I'm glad to be here.
And we're gonna rock and roll like we always do. Walter Cruz, what's going on? Did you get your food order in?
Yeah, I'm doing well. It's good to be back. It's good to see Jerry. I feel like it's been a while, like a long time. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this build and just waiting to talk about it. So let's get the ball rolling. Right. Since Big G ain't here, I'll say it for him.
Ball rolling. You know why he says that? Because he doesn't know what else to say. And speaking of Big G, I'm sure he'll make the show at some point. There it is. Right
there he is.
Jeff Jarrett is going for the international title. He didn't win it yet, did he, Jeff?
No, it's this Wednesday.
Imagine if he does win that. Big G's going to go ballistic.
Wow,
Aaron, what's going on?
That picture just shows all the charisma that Big G has.
Yeah. What's up, Aaron?
Apparently, we're going up against the Oscars, which I did not know. That just goes to show how little I'm paying attention.
People
to
still watch that?
Apparently so. But anyways, that's all the more reason we're going to make this the best review ever. Forget about the Oscars. This is going to be way more entertaining. We're actually going to be legit. No ass kissing, no BS.
Nope. I'm even sick. I'm sick and I'm still doing this.
Absolutely. And we're ready to rock and roll. We're going to have a fun time here. Big G, he's not with us, but he is here in spirit. I'm rooting for Jeff Jarrett because I know if Jarrett wins that international title, it is going to be a really fun review next week.
It's going to piss so many people off. It's going to be so great.
Now, we do have a few super chats. Walter, you sent us $5. He says, welcome to review number 228. Please like and share this video. Say yes to NoDQ. Hashtag stick to my shtick. So thank you for that, Walter. And Psycho Jet Black sent in $2. He says, Big Baller G fan, Double J, and master of the G spot. All right.
That's frightening.
Yeah. Apparently, Psycho knows a lot more information about Big G than I do. But anyways, Virtue, let's go ahead and get right into these topics. Oh, wait, Dr. Dakota Scorpio sent in $2. He said, say no to the Oscar slap, but say yes to NoDQ.
And yes, Aaron, did I miss it already? Wasn't there a super chat before we even went live today?
If there was I have not seen it.
I swear there was one up there.
It was. I saw it. I saw it. It mentioned the Bloodline, something about the Bloodline. I read it.
Well, anyway, if you're there, you just point it out because I don't know if Aaron can still see that because it was up there before we went live. So anyway,
I can't see it anymore
in that case,
either.
It's related to the Bloodline. Well, when we talk about the Bloodline, if I can find it, I'll read it off. Then I'll see if I can find it on my phone. It is not in the StreamYard.
It's probably one of the first ones on the YouTube chat because people can get in the chat before we actually start the show. I think that's when it was from. But nonetheless, while Aaron's looking for that,
we got one more here from Psycho Jet Black. He says, would you rather be at the Oscars or ride the Wienermobile? What's the Wienermobile? Just so I'm not
like the Oscar Mayer thing.
The Oscar Mayer,
Oscar Mayer.
Definitely the Wienermobile.
I thought it was some kind of porn reference, so I wasn't sure if I wanted to answer that.
Where's your mind at, you gutter?
I'm hoping he actually is talking about the physical Oscar Mayer Wiener vehicle that's actually shaped like a hot dog and bun.
I mean,
but that's kind of weird.
Yeah, if it's the actual Wienermobile, the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile, then yeah, 100%. I'll ride
yeah.
the Mobile.
Free hot dog. I don't know how those guys do it in the hot dog eating contest, by the way. Oh my God.
Joey
I couldn't-
Chestnut.
I know they eat
Water.
the hot dog and then the bun and soak it in water. And,
Ugh.
They
my
soak it
God.
in water. That's the trick. Yeah.
Man, I'd rather watch
Well,
an
no,
EC3 match than watch that.
Oh,
Wow. EC3.
Hot dog.
Where did that come from? All right. First topic. Rey Mysterio is going to be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. Now, I'm trying to remember here. Has anybody been inducted while they're currently like an active wrestler? Not where they've come back and wrestled after. Am I just not thinking of it? Jerry
Flair.
Slaughter? Who?
Ric Flair.
Undertaker.
Ric Flair?
Undertaker, wasn't he?
Yeah,
was he
Ric
still active
Flair-
at that point?
Ric Flair was inducted the night before WrestleMania 24, which was his
Okay.
final match. So he technically was still an active wrestler. When
So,
he was
yeah,
inducted.
Rey Mysterio. I mean, it's just kind of weird because he's still in the storyline, still wrestling, but I guess you never, it doesn't matter, right? He's definitely worthy of being in there. So, Jerry, what do you think here? How do you think this class is going to shape out? I mean, is he the first guy that they announced? So is he the headliner, or are they like it's been weird ever since the pandemic. Did they even induct the group of people from the pandemic year yet, or are they still all in limbo?
They did, but Dave Bautista said I think he rejected it until he actually be there in person to be inducted.
So anyway, thoughts on Rey here. Like, good for him. I just think it seems a little off, like just weird timing for me because he's still kind of in it, unless this is his last WrestleMania. But Jerry?
Well, seeing as though the Hall of Fame doesn't actually exist in like physical form, I really don't care much about it. Like if there's one situations where I go to a building like that's called the WWE Hall of Fame and look at all Mysterio's mask from all his really cool matches that he did, or like a whole bunch of wrestling memorabilia, that'd be great. But this is just a mythical thing, just to get just a cheap pop out people to sell tickets to a show that really nobody should really care about very much. Mysterio, yeah, he's had a lengthy career. Yes, he's done a lot in it. He's one of the smallest world champions I think they've actually had in the WWE. But even then, his title run wasn't really that great. And most of his great feuds that he's actually had is just based on his actual competition, like his stuff with Jericho, his stuff with Eddie Guerrero. Pretty much, in order to bring out the best of Rey Mysterio, he had to have the best in opposition. But I think right now Rey Mysterio is just somebody that had to throw in there for the sake of throwing in there because he's been around for so long.
Now, Aaron, do you think that this could be done for a reason? I don't think they've really ever toyed with this kind of thing during the Hall of Fame and speeches. Could they do some business with Dominic here to try to get more heel heat on Dominic that will last forever if he ruins his dad Hall of Fame? I don't know. What do you think here? Just I don't know. That would be what I would like to see, something different, because it doesn't really matter. It's all what Vince McMahon chooses to be in his Hall of Fame. So to me, it's more about the moments. And I'm telling you, Rey, to get his son over even more as a heel, I don't know. What do you think, Aaron?
I would not be opposed to seeing something like that happen. And Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. What if Conan betrayed Rey Mysterio and joined Dominic? That would be really interesting. But with that being said, I don't think that's going to happen. My gut feeling is that Rey will have his moment. Dominic will probably not be on camera. And they're going to do the match at WrestleMania. And Rey is going to put over Dominic and call it a career. But maybe not. We'll have to wait and see what happens. The obvious direction of this is that Rey puts over Dominic and retires, and the Hall of Fame is being done to give him his big send-off before he retires. Now, there are possible twists and turns. Conan is inducting Rey, and we could always see some kind of angle to turn up the heat. But I think they're going to have plenty of heat as it is going in. And I'm looking forward to the match regardless. Like I said last week. I think this has been one of the better buildups for WrestleMania, but I know Virtue, you still want to see a little bit more out of it, and I would like to see a little curveball. I would be totally fine with it, but I'm personally not expecting something like that to happen, and I'm wondering.
If something just this simple, like Ray's doing a speech, and like Dominic tries to storm the stage, and then they just have security, rush him out, and it just delays it for like a minute, and then Ray continues his speech, but obviously changes the tone of his voice.
Remember? I mean, I'm not sure if they would do this, but you remember in 2019 when that fan attacked Bret Hart? What if they tried to like do an actual angle like that, where Dominic tried to jump Ray, and they recreate that real moment that happened as a work with everybody having to jump over the barricade and stop him.
Why not? It's wrestling.
I thought about something like that too, but also have Ray completely still saying that he won't face Dominic at WrestleMania. He won't face Dominic at WrestleMania, but then after he gets inducted, maybe as he's leaving the stage, Dominic attacks him. And that pretty much that's when he's like, that's it, final straw. And that's when they had the match at WrestleMania.
Yeah,
because Hall of Fame's the night before WrestleMania, and that'd be a great way to add that match right at that last minute for that to happen.
And it may go past WrestleMania. Maybe they drag it out to Backlash. Maybe Ray does wrestle several more matches. Maybe they wrap it up at SummerSlam. We'll have to wait and see what happens.
Tito's like, keep the angles out of the Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame is an angle. It's Vince McMahon's storyline.
The Hall of Fame is not real.
It's after SmackDown. It's like part of SmackDown. That's how much they care about it.
The biggest thing for the Hall of Fame to me is the payday for the legends that don't really get those paydays anymore, that come back in for that one last time. But I
heard Demolition's up to be in it this year.
Well, we'll see. I would love to see them.
They deserved it for years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Barry Darso, especially. I mean, like he pulled double duty. He was Repo Man at one point too. So, and I think one of the versions of Doink. The guy needs to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I agree with that. I feel like Ray might only be going in because Batista, for whatever reason, is not going in this year, and I'm wondering what's up with that. Why Batista, after several years of it being delayed, he's still not going in. But yeah,
because he's more and more of a serious actor now. He's trying to distance himself from wrestling in general. Like his movie career is just flat out taking off.
Is he filming something right now? Maybe
he might be. I mean, he's a busy man, so he could be busy with something.
And this is a Hall of Fame of Vince McMahon selected people in his Hall of Fame. It's an angle. It's fake. Mm-hmm. It's because Vince McMahon says they deserve to be in there. None of it's real. The rings are real, but then they sell them on eBay. Come on, it's an angle. It's to get wrestling fans money one more day, WrestleMania weekend. Okay.
Yeah, I would actually have Rhea attempt to attack Ray, and then when all the security is distracted getting Rhea out, that's when Dom comes from the other side and gets him. That way Dom gets a clean shot at his dad.
The thing is with that is you can only have Rhea attack so many different times before it becomes a feud between her and Rey Mysterio versus him and Dominic. Like, basically, you want to keep Rhea focused on Charlotte Flair at this point, especially with us being this close to WrestleMania. If she gets thrown into a mix for that, people aren't going to be talking about her match with Charlotte Flair. They're going to be wondering how she's going to interfere with Dominic and Rey's match.
Are they going to want an intergender match out of it? Yeah, you're right.
Aaron, anything else you want to add before?
Yeah, Rhea's got her own thing. Psychojet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Says, imagine Dominic reforming the Latino world order. I'd be amused.
I would not be opposed to that at all. Even one shot deal would be great.
He's doing well with Judgment Day, though, so I really don't feel there's a need for him to break off.
I don't think right now, but yeah, maybe down the line after Judgment Day disbands or something, or he actually gets more seasoned in the ring and actually has people are actually looking at him like, hey, he's a good wrestler, because he's kind of going the Miz route at this point. Nobody's taking Dominic really seriously, but he's just going to build better into the ring, especially with the opposition that he has and the people he has helping him out. and with Regal back in the company as well, and he's gonna have more of a prominent role in there. I think he's gonna oversee the fact that Dominic actually gets more training and gets better in the ring. So sky's the limit for him at this point, as long as he stays injury free.
It's still real to Tito though. Hey, this is real to Tito. These Hall of Fame people, like they deserve to be in there because that's who, that they're long careers, not because Vince McMahon chose them to be in there on a night that he's selling tickets to fans to come and watch them. That's an angle, you mark. All of it is you believing that it's a real Hall of Fame. You bought into the angle.
It's still real to him, damn.
All right, Walter Cruz, anything you would like to add to this? Let's have a straightforward Hall of Fame ceremony with standard speeches, and then we can have the wrestling match at WrestleMania night 1 or 2 where they do wrestling.
No, I say Ray deserves it, but Ray deserves it, but with the Hall of Fame that has people like Trump and Coco Beware in it, it's hard to take it serious. So, hey,
leave Coco Beware alone.
Take something serious. I'm just saying, I think his bird was more popular than he actually was. But anyway,
is Drew Carey in it too in the celebrity wing?
Drew Carey.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
as is Bob Barker, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's just hard to take it serious, but in terms of like the kind of career Ray did, he changed the game for lighter, smaller people. He made you think that they can be credible champions, even though he wasn't booked as strongly when he had the titles. I mean, he won the title and then 2 hours later lost it to Cena. But at the same time, Ray's had a long, and he's the only one that, as far as I know, that never went heel. Like, he never turned heel in the WWE. He did it in WCW, but you couldn't take it that serious. He got the mask off. But Ray, was the most popular wrestler ever. Like, his mask has to be one of the most sold merchandise ever. Like I would love to see the numbers on that. Ray's got to be up there with the sales of the mask. So if anyone deserves it, it's him. But for anybody to take the Hall of Fame serious and don't see it as another angle, that's just weird to be like. I would love them to ruin his speech and Dom, because it's the ultimate heat. Like, who wouldn't love that?
And whether anything happens at the Hall of Fame or not, because it's supposed to be proper and appropriate, nothing should happen there. Have Dominic beat him at WrestleMania, and have Dominic hijack the Hall of Fame ring and wear it around himself. Steal, right? You got to steal like Eddie. So that's why I would love to see the early induction of Rey Mysterio somehow benefit Dominic through all of this. Like, you know what I mean? Even if it's stealing the ring after the fact.
Just wear down like an obnoxious necklace around his neck out the ring.
Yeah, just something. Right?
Hey, Eddie stole Angle's medals. Just steal the ring. You're right.
That's a good thing. Eddie lied, cheat, and steal. All right, are we ready to move on? Any other super chats, Aaron?
Yeah, Big G in the house.
Yes.
Big G sent in $5. Now, it's possible, actually, it's probable that his account was hacked. So I am going to read the super chat, but I'm thinking that this was a hacked message. He says, "Hey guys, have a good show. Hashtag Jarrett sucks." And he says, "Ray going into the Hall of Fame is nice." Now, Big G is a Jeff Jarrett fanatic, number one. And number two, Big G.
That's like saying you suck to Kurt Angle. Fans really like him, but they chant you suck. Yeah. Big
G knows how to spell. He knows it's J-A double R E double T. That is not Big G, because Big G would have at least spelled it correctly to make us think that it's legitimate. Anyways, let's move on.
Okay. All right, the match is on. John Cena versus Austin Theory at WrestleMania. This is where John Cena, who's now in Hollywood's coming back. Can he elevate Austin Theory? Austin Theory is the United States champion. We know John Cena's history with that title. I'm not necessarily opposed to that title being on the line here. I think way back, I suggested it would be nice to see Cena come back and be in that U.S. title mix, because he did make that belt relevant at one point. What's everybody's thoughts here? Walter, I'll come back to you. Austin Theory is supposed to, could he be their next vision of a John Cena? Obviously, when John Cena broke through and he came through, he was part of that class of 2002. He had the mic skills, the thugonomics. First, it was the ruthless aggression stuff, but he really got over as that heel. Austin Theory kind of went through that push and then got pulled back when Vince McMahon was gone, and obviously they've pushed him again, just not as hard. So this is going to be interesting, but I don't have a problem with a veteran, a legend, versus somebody, but you have to make sure it works in the long run for Austin Theory. What's your thought here, Walter? I hope he doesn't get buried, and then in a year from now, we're like mid-card Theory. What do you think?
I don't think that's going to happen. Yeah, I don't have a problem with this at all. Actually, I think that's the only one thing I have about it is kind of gives away the ending. We know John Cena's not coming back for no run, so he's obviously can't win the title. So I don't know if he wins by counter or by DQ or he puts Theory over. I'm thinking he puts Theory over, and I'm hoping and that's what you use the legends for. You bring back legends. Or in theory, no pun intended, but in theory, you should be bringing back.
There was a pun intended.
You should be bringing back legends to put over your younger people. Every year, people complain that WrestleMania is always about legends and always about legends. But this is what you do. This is when you use them correctly. There's nothing to complain about. Use them to put over your younger talent. Use them to get Theory the heat. And Theory beating Cena will be a launching pad to his career. And then he's got something to brag about. He probably can brag for 3 to 6 months until people get bored of it. But I mean, you get bragging rights.
You think they got it? You think? But now again, with these Hollywood stars, it's what's their schedule. We only assume they come in for one match at WrestleMania. Could Cena have a few appearances on the docket where he wins it and then maybe loses it back at Backlash in Puerto Rico? I mean. We don't know, and it would be nice to see something like that. And I'm going to be one of those that's going to assume Cena's one and done back to Hollywood, but Cena is that one Hollywood guy that would do something like that. What do you think, Jerry?
I honestly think this is the main event angle on Raw lately since Bloodline's been pretty much taking over SmackDown. They've done a couple things on Raw, but if you think about it, the main title on Raw right now is the United States Championship. So I think at this point, if they're going to try and make Austin Theory into the main event talent that they want him to be, Cena is going to put him over. And if for some reason Cena does end up winning the belt, maybe he goes on Raw that next night and relinquishes it just as a lesson to Austin Theory. And that becomes almost like a prize for the King of the Ring tournament or something along that line. Something that almost like a tournament that could happen, and that'd be really fun to watch because I'm all about tournaments. And it'd be a way to get different matches on the cards and start up different feuds post WrestleMania. So I'd be okay with a mid-card tournament for a relinquished U.S. belt, but. I think the proper way of doing it would actually be to have Theory somehow, triumph over John Cena.
You're on mute.
Finally, he got muted.
Who muted me?
Not me.
So anyway.
I actually thought I had gone deaf.
Well, you can't see John Cena, you can't hear me.
You can't hear me.
But I mean, it's a nice concept to think that a legend could come back and properly put over up-and-coming star if that up-and-coming star has what it takes to stay elevated and make something of himself.
I like seeing Cena's shocked face.
Yep.
Aaron,
what would you like to add?
They did it where he went clean.
Well, you never know, right? But he's a heel. I don't know if he'll win clean. Maybe.
It's been a while since Cena's actually been in a singles match. He was in that tag match with Kevin Owens, and that was all right. But at the same time, it'd be really cool just to see Austin Theory just out wrestle Cena, and after all the trash talking and everything's done, he actually wins the match, and then we don't hear the end of it from Theory at all.
Yeah.
And that could set for a rematch down the line, or maybe Cena does come back for a short run. It's okay, I messed up somewhere there. I need to go ahead and rebuild, and so we get a couple more Cena matches and a rematch against Theory.
Where's Backlash at? Is that the show that's in Puerto Rico?
Yes.
I like to see Theory versus Juan Cena. Remember when John Cena was wearing that mask at some house shows? I don't know if that was a rib or whatever that was, but that would be funny. All right, Aaron, what do you think here?
Actually, that would be very entertaining. Like if Austin Theory beat John Cena at WrestleMania and says Cena will never get another match again, and that's when John Cena pulls a Mr. America and we get Juan Cena versus Austin Theory. I mean, that's a great idea. I love it.
Pulls an El Generico.
Yeah, but I mean,
right?
I think it's going to be a one and done. I do think Theory should beat John Cena clean. Is that what is going to happen? I'm thinking most likely Theory will win, probably with shady tactics, low blow,
shenanigans,
whatever. But I would like to see it clean. And of course, there's always the possibility that John Cena could pull off the win and then either, like Jerry said, forfeit the title, or he could defend it in Puerto Rico and lose it back to Theory. But let's get to these super chats here real quick. Psycho Jet Black, and I'll answer this. He says, if Vince was in charge, it would be John Cena versus Baron Corbin at WrestleMania. Actually, I know we all think that with Baron Corbin, but Austin Theory was a Vince guy.
Yes.
Like, I think that was always their plan before Vince even left. They were going to do John Cena versus Austin Theory. That was always their plan.
I agree.
The game is on 100. Sent in a $5 super chat. Says, what should happen is Cena beats Theory at Mania and takes the title. Have Theory go through personal stuff for months to SummerSlam and beats Cena then. Now, hasn't Theory already been going through all these changes and whatnot? Like, do you guys think that's a good idea? I'm not sure how I feel about that one. What do you guys think?
I think he already made that, like, transition after he lost the Money in the Bank briefcase. Like, after that, he hit that low point, and that's when he started building himself back up, became more ruthless, and that started putting more of the seeds of John Cena is coming back into people's heads. So for that to happen again, that just seems like it'd be recycling material, and they're trying to do something different with Theory at this point.
Yeah, if Theory just changed, I wouldn't do it. Theory just changed, I wouldn't do anything. I would do the opposite. Be interested. What if Cena goes on a losing streak, thinks he doesn't have it anymore, and then he gets that one big win and retires? Like, I would. He doesn't
even have to go on a losing streak. That's what I was saying. Yeah. He just has to lose the Theory, especially after all that crap he talked to him on Raw. If he loses the Theory, that's going to send him on a spiral, and that could easily do that whole, almost like montage, build up to another match against Theory.
All right, we got another super chat here from Psycho Jet Black. Says, seriously, John Cena should pull over Austin Theory as he has more upside, and it would not be a waste like when Kurt Angle put over Baron Corbin at WrestleMania.
Yeah,
I think we all agree on that John Cena should win this match, or not John Cena. Austin Theory should win this match, but doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen. The only way I see Cena winning is if he's going to do a rematch. Like, I don't know if he's going to show up. Like, I think that would make Theory look really weak if Cena won the title and then just relinquished it, and that was the end of Cena. Like, I think Theory would have to get his win back, but I think Theory should just outright beat him, and Cena takes off some more time. Whenever Roman drops the title, Cena should try to go for number 17 before he retires. I think that's the one final storyline you can do with him, where he's trying to win that world title. But he could take another 6 months.
Him and Cody did hug.
Yeah, that would be a hell of a match. Cody Rhodes versus John Cena, Cena chasing 17. I would like to see it, whether it happens at SummerSlam or if they hold off on the Cody win. They could do it for next year's WrestleMania.
He could either say, Cody, okay, you fulfilled your dream. Now it's time for me to fulfill mine.
You break the record 17 times. That
sounds like a Saudi match.
We'll see.
Oh, don't do that.
Mr. Tito has a little, I guess, Virtue. You like to do these little side topics here, so I guess this will be it from Mr. Tito. He sent in $5 and says, could the recent bank failures, Silicon Valley Bank, now Signature Bank, cool down buyers of the WWE seeking credit to make the acquisition? What do you think, Virtue?
No, because whoever buys WWE is not going to need credit. So it's going to be a monster, mega company. So it won't slow it down at all. The only thing that will slow down the purchase of the WWE side of things, and we'll have to see how that goes. But if we get through, if we start heading like later into this year and still this is a rumor and they haven't sold yet, I'll start saying stuff like that. But I expect after WrestleMania at some point we're going to have this announcement. I think it's going to happen. It's
you think
in
maybe
the next couple months,
maybe in the spring, like May?
Yeah,
I'm thinking so too. If there is going to be a sale, I think it's going to be coming up in the spring. But anyways, Dwayne Atkinson, back to the Theory Cena match, says Theory wins and Cena embraces him after the match. I doubt that. I don't think Cena would embrace him.
If he does, he's just gonna Theory's going to kick him in the nuts, like Jericho of Shawn Michaels.
Right, exactly. Give him the FU afterwards.
I wouldn't want to see him as a face. Yeah, no face turn for there, because that's almost like he's a face.
Yeah, and he's doing fine as a heel right now. That's his thing. Keep it like that.
Tito, I'll make a bet with you. WWE will sell to a company that's worth mega billions, and we will find everything we can out on that, and there will be no credit involved. There will be no credit. It will be straight. They will buy it with a portion of their liquid assets. I'll make a bet with you on that. Whatever you want. So.
Oh, interesting. All right. Well,
but it's going to be a company that's worth
private chat
mega billions, like the 3, 4, 5, $600 billion companies. It's not going to be one of those like Shad Khan, right? And a group of people that would need to get an investment from a bank. So that's what's going to happen. It's going to be a huge streaming or media rights company.
All right. PM us, Tito. We'll set it up. Easy money, right?
Yep. We moved on, caught up?
Yep, we're caught up.
Okay. So we can talk about AEW this segment here. I know, since Revolution, there was that Iron Man match with MJF and Danielson you might want to talk on. I know Aaron already did. So, Jerry, I'm going to come over to you. But the point, what I want to, specify on here is Wardlow. What has Tony Khan done? Oh, Jerry's gone. So, Walter, what has Tony Khan done to Wardlow? Now, I'm expecting to see people like Tito. Wardlow doesn't have the it factor. Even if he got pushed, he wouldn't be a draw. Yeah, the same thing was said about Roman Reigns, blah, 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 blah. Now look at Roman. So, Walter, any thoughts on AEW recent happenings? But Wardlow, and he can't even hold on to a mid-card title, never went for the main title when he was on a roll. It's because the booking of AEW caters to the smaller wrestlers, and it's hurting potential stars, right? You don't know if somebody's going to be a star, but if you have that gut feeling that they could be, you have to try. You have to try. Like Vince McMahon kept doing it with Roman Reigns, and he finally found it. Jerry, come on back. Walter, I mean, seriously, what has happened with Wardlow? I mean, shame on Tony Khan. I think he had the potential to be something.
Wardlow looks the part. He acts the part. I don't know what Tony Khan's thinking. What did it for me, I knew Wardlow was in trouble when he got on that mic and said, I'm not going to go for this world until it's undisputed. Or however he worded it, the fact that he didn't want to go for it made no sense whatsoever, and it made him look like an idiot. Like Aaron talks about dumb baby faces all the time. That was the dumbest thing to say. And I know that it was just booked and he was doing his promo. And Tony Khan is an idiot for doing that. And when you got an idiot running the company, like he don't know what to do with Kay Lee. He don't know what to do with Miro. He don't know what to do. Like he's screwing up so bad.
Hold on a minute. Wait a minute. Answer this sentence or this question. Finish the sentence. The Wrestling Observer 2022 Booker of the Year was
Tony Khan.
Out of 347 votes. 347
of the
people.
Most influential
347 people of the big
analysts.
worldwide wrestling community.
And whoever owns Wrestling Observer, whoever owns Wrestling Observer was doing this after he said that, counting the money Tony Khan paid him to say that. But anyway, it's just, I don't know, when you got a big monster like that. I mean, I do get it. You don't want to rush someone immediately to the title scene, but I mean, at least get him a title shot. Even if he lost, but you made him look good, at least something credible happened. But the fact that he didn't even want to go for it, it made him look scared. Like, what the hell is a 6'5", whatever he is, 280 pounds, like, not want to go for the title? No, I'm happy where I'm at. And then you hot potato this title. You make the title look weak. You make him look weak. And he had, a 4-day run? Imagine if Dynamite was on Monday. He would have lost one day after the pay-per-view. Like, that's just, that made no sense to me. I don't know what Tony Khan is doing. But, I mean, who are we to question the Booker of the Year, I guess?
Now, Jerry, do we question Tony Khan's tactics, really? I mean, Steve Austin started as the ringmaster in WWE. The Rock was Blue Chip or Rocky Maivia. Hunter Hearst Helmsley was the Blue Blood. Like, do we question Tony Khan waiting on Wardlow? Or is Wardlow just going to be a victim of, you ain't ever going to be that big in AEW because you're not an EVP and you're not in that clique and you're not one of the MJFs or the Bucks or the Omegas. You're a big brute. I don't know, man. Like, look at how often do any of the big guys really win matches in AEW? Not often. And I know they don't want to be old WWE style where the big guys always won, but you have to mix it up a little bit, and it's really hurt Wardlow. Hot potatoing the TNT title. Jerry?
Wardlow isn't where he needs to be just yet. Like, he's got the look, he's got the presence, but he doesn't have the same charisma. Like, the whole Wardlow's World thing is not only hard to say, it's kind of a tongue twister. It's just cheesy. It just doesn't feel right. When Batista broke away from Evolution, he had his feud with Triple H. He won the belt and everything, and that was great. But I think if they were going to do anything with Wardlow, they would have done that right after he left the Pinnacle and right after him and MJF had their feud. But I have to agree with Mr. Tito's comment a little bit ago. I wasn't impressed with the MJF versus Wardlow match because MJF's mind wasn't in it. He was ready to walk out the door for more money. So maybe that's what they're trying to do at this point is take Wardlow out of that TNT TNT title picture and start building him towards another match with MJF. Because I know I beat MJF before, so I could beat him again kind of thing. But at this point, it's not believable. I mean, Powerhouse Hobbs is a great, great talent. But the fact that he actually won the match over Wardlow, even with QT Marshall's help, I don't even think you need QT Marshall in there. I don't think he needed to be in the match or involved at all. But the fact that they felt the need to go ahead and just take the belt right off of Wardlow, they either have lots of plans for him or they have no plans for him. It's a very Schrodinger's cat kind of thing. The cat's either dead or it's alive in the box. And Wardlow's career is in the box right now.
Here's the problem.
Schrodinger's cat.
This is the problem. Tony Khan, AEW doesn't have the balls. They don't know how to book a big man. All they know how to do is try. All Tony Khan can do is try to put guys together in a match and feuds that he thinks Dave Meltzer will give 5 stars or more. Wardlow is a big guy. You're not thinking 5-star type matches for him like you would Roman Reigns, John Cena, etc. And that's the problem. Tony Khan doesn't know how to book to casual fans. He only knows how to book to the diehard Meltzer marks that vote him Booker of the Year. Aaron, thoughts?
It's the same guy who thinks that 12 people have to bleed in the same pay-per-view to get it over.
I'm waiting to give Tony Khan props. All right, you finally did something for a casual fan base. Yes, and I still haven't been able to do that. Aaron?
It's like reverse WWE from the 1980s. I guess if you're over 6 feet tall and you're jacked, you're not getting pushed in AEW, or you're only going to be pushed to a certain level. but the focus is going to be on the smaller, more athletic guys, which is kind of crazy too, because Wardlow's very athletic. He can do a lot of cool things, but he is like a modern day Goldberg, and I feel like they're not really sure what to do with him. You know, Tony Khan, not just for the sake of the fan base wanting to see all the 5-star clinics back and forth type matches, Wardlow's character should be going out there and dominating. He should not be going out there and doing the 20-minute back and forth, everybody's kicking out at 2 over and over again type of matches. I just don't see Wardlow as that type of character. He should be going out there and squashing people in 2 to 3 minute matches like a Goldberg, and maybe for big pay-per-views, he's put up against somebody who is his equal on a physical level. Then he can maybe be in a more competitive match. It's tough because Wardlow doesn't have a lot of guys that are at his size and build. He just doesn't have those people. You have a few like Brian Cage and Samoa Joe, but again, not that many options for him. Now, Building Nexus sent in a $2 super chat, says, maybe Wardlow needs another MJF feud. Well, that's what I was thinking initially, that Wardlow should be the guy that eventually dethrones MJF, and they push Wardlow as the face of the company. And maybe that is the plan here. But as mentioned just a few moments ago, either they're building him towards that or they got nothing for him. And you look at Revolution, when he beat Joe, like that was a pretty flat reaction. AEW crowds are usually really hot, and they loved Wardlow,
especially during Joe matches.
Yeah, that match was also put in the death spot.
Even if he loses, Joe matches usually get a huge reaction.
Yeah, and that match was put in a bad spot on the card. Which, why would you put your TNT title match in that filler bathroom break position, anyways? So it was really odd how they put that together. But yeah, like if we do get MJF versus Wardlow again, like how do you build that up and make MJF credible as a champion defending, because he got his ass handed to him pretty hard by Wardlow last time. And yeah, I'm not sure how you pull that one off. It's a tough spot for Tony Khan for sure.
At this point, Wardlow's beneath him, though. It's beneath MJF almost at this point.
Yeah. Psycho Jet Black sent in $5 and says, Wardlow should go crazy, attack everyone, win matches with one powerbomb, and cut incoherent promos like Scott Steiner.
Wardlow math.
Wardlow math. There you go.
But then you'd just be trying to reformulate something. Like, yeah, you could do the kick-ass part, but you don't have to. Even though that would be funny, you don't have to do those kind of promos. You could go
Walter. Everything's already been done before. Especially everything in AEW. Everything in AEW has already been done before. Not just in WWE, maybe in NWA, maybe ECW. Everything has been done.
Yeah. But sometimes you catch lightning in a bottle, and
like the Bloodline.
Yeah, and you either capitalize on it or you let it out, and I think they kind of let it out with Wardlow. Could they rebuild him? Possibly, but it might be a tough one now. Like, people I feel have moved on to other wrestlers that they want to get emotionally invested in. Like, they just kind of lost interest in Wardlow, I feel.
That's it. Same thing happened to Archer. Archer is like this huge, monster that's going like a warpath. He was carrying his opponents out to the ring to finish them off, which I thought was like some of the cool stuff that they had seen on AEW television. But that just kind of disappeared after a bit. And it's starting to really look like the age of the monster, or like monster types in AEW, has either already expired or just isn't there.
Yeah. This is where I wish Harper was still around, man. He could be a good, that would have just been some good.
He was fantastic.
Wardlow, I don't know, just that unfortunate, but
yeah. But you look at all these guys: Brian Cage, Lance Archer, Wardlow, Miro, all these bigger guys.
Where is Miro?
How do you mess up? How you mess that up? He was so hot coming over, and then it's just.
They got all these guys that look like they could beat up anybody in the world. They look like the toughest sons of bitches on the planet, and you got them losing to the Jungle Boys and the Ricky Starkses, and those guys are great. But I
was about to say, go ahead and put Luchasaurus in the mix there too, because he's kind of lost now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They got nothing for him, unfortunately. And
guys.
I thought he was like badass. Like when AEW first started, I thought, you know what, they could maybe make this guy a huge star. Like he's got the cool mask, like kids would buy the action figures. And
for me, Luchasaurus was kind of like the Dominic Dijakovic of that company at that point. So maybe if he does come back and have some sort of feud with Keith Lee, that would actually like benefit him a lot, because they could have. Right.
They got Keith Lee too now.
Yeah, another bigger guy who moves like a cruiserweight, and
they kind of signed. They signed too many people, and now they don't know what to do with everybody.
It's like Tony Khan's got this huge toy box. He fills it up with people, but then he only takes out like 2 or 3 to use at a time, and the rest of them just kind of either lay around, get broken, or just don't get used to the point where they just get sold off to something else.
Yep.
And that's what's going to happen with a lot of this roster after a bit. You already saw him like drain the pool with a lot of these like contracts, just not cutting anybody, just letting their contract expire and just letting them go.
Hey, what happened to that one toy that got away and ran over to the main event of WrestleMania?
Yeah, that's
Aaron, super chats.
Yeah, Psycho Jet Black sent in $2. Thank you for that. Says Wardlow should form the Big Men World Order. Well, I think they would get a cease and desist if they did that, but yeah, he could form like a faction of giants. There you go, the faction of giants.
I think the BWO has already been done. The Blue World Order.
Yeah. All right, anyways, we're caught up now.
Okay, well, main event time. We're going to talk about the Bloodline. Jay and Jimmy back at it together, right? We know this is going to happen. Bloodline heading into WrestleMania. Question is, what are they going to be like after WrestleMania? There could be no titles. It can be complete disarray. As you see, I still say Roman over Cody strong right there at WrestleMania. But thoughts here on the Bloodline. A lot of potential things heading after WrestleMania. You have Solo. You have Jay, who's kind of just been torn this whole time, but he's picking blood. So Jerry Slaughter, the most interesting angle in wrestling all of the last year, at least not according to the Wrestling Observer.
Not just a year. This has been solid storytelling to the point where I think this is the best storyline they've had in quite some time.
And it ain't over because you have to see the fallout if they do have turmoil and break up or Roman goes away. So life after WrestleMania for the Bloodline, I mean, it could still be really, really good, but it could also be beginning of the end. So what do you think, Jerry?
I think if the Bloodline loses all their belts during WrestleMania, which could possibly happen, it's going to lead to one of the most violent couple months after WrestleMania that we've actually seen in WWE in ages. I think it's going to be very Goodfellas-like, where they're just going to be going on a rampage, trying to get their belts back, and trying to stay on the island of relevancy as it's been told. I think it's going to put more of a focus on Jay, for him and Jimmy, if they lose their belts, to regain it with Jimmy because that's his blood. But at the same time, I think he's still going to be torn by the fact that he doesn't really want to be under Roman's command either. So that's what's really cool about this. They don't really need the belts to keep the feud going, but it just adds more relevancy to the feud if the belts are actually in the picture. So Roman's going to be focusing more on what makes what he needs to do to get his belt back from Cody, because I'm with you on that. Cody's going to end up winning the championship probably. There's a good 85, almost 90% chance of it. But I like the idea of him losing his belt, but then also that kind of causes some sort of identity crisis with him. And he goes even more mad with power, just wants to wipe out anybody that's in his way to get that belt back. And do they separate the belts afterwards? Will Cody carry on both of them? I don't know. But he might tear a pec again if he's trying to carry them both around. That'd be a sight to behold. But I think the Bloodline is going to be around for quite some time because I think in the long run, in the back of the creative's mind, they're probably still seeing Solo versus Roman somewhere down the line. They haven't had Solo lose yet, and if Roman loses, that's going to just give Solo more of a headspace where he's like, okay, the boss of this faction has lost, which means, and I still have not lost in this company. There's something there, so that's going to add even more intrigue and more like espionage, and it's just good writing. It's just good television.
See, I think where you get the good segments for after WrestleMania, Walter, obviously you do have the Usos lose the tag titles to KO and Zayn, and then have those fans on the edge of their seat more than we can ever recall and remember. Maybe back to Shawn and Undertaker matches, and then have Roman just pull it out and have him still have his titles for a little bit longer, but everybody standing behind him in that ring on SmackDown doesn't. That's where you create more great Bloodline segments going forward. And I still think Cody should be that guy. I'm just postponing it to WrestleMania. So however Cody has to get that second match, win Money in the Bank, that's fine. And again, it could be over at WrestleMania. I'm just trying to think how to extend the drama, the 1,000 days. It would be even more meaningful that Cody had to chase it longer and then beats Roman after that milestone. And I don't know. There's so much good that can come from just waiting a little bit longer. You've come this far.
But I like the idea of at WrestleMania Backlash, like the main event being like a 6-man tag with the Bloodline versus Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn. The belts wouldn't be on the line or anything, but that'd be like just a really cool main event to have.
Walter, it's your turn. Just imagine, though, after WrestleMania, Roman getting in Jay and Jimmy's faces. What was wrong with you? You didn't come through. Anyway, have at it. Life after WrestleMania. Bloodline. What's your thoughts here?
The fact that each of us have our own idea of where this can go and how many twists and turns, it lets you know the fact that how great this storyline is, because we have no idea where it's going to go. There's been so many ups and downs. Here's another scenario I could throw at you. What if Roman keeps the belt after he beats Cody? Jay Uso enters King of the Ring, wins that, and then you got the Roman going, who the hell gave you permission to get in that tournament? Now you're the number one contender. Who told you to do that? And now there's tension in the Bloodline. And now you elevated Jay by winning the King of the Ring. And it's just so many ways you could do this. Or now the Usos could just focus, if Roman beats Cody, focus on making sure Roman gets to 1,000 and make sure nobody can challenge him. They go and beat the hell out of everybody. Just make sure Roman is king and sits in that throne for as long as possible. And that's the focus. And maybe the tag titles are no longer the focus. There's so many turns we can do it. This story is just some of the best stories ever. You had a little bit of Brett with Owen with the brothers thing. You got so many things going on that we have no idea where this is going to go. And I'm looking forward to it. And it's just keeps surprising me. That's all. Because you think you figured it out, and then they do this. I didn't think that whole Jay thing was going to happen so early. I thought they might have waited till SmackDown, and then they did it on Raw.
Aaron, what's the old Piper quote?
Just when you think you have the answers, they change the questions.
They change the questions, and that's the best thing to do with this. And I keep doing it. That's all. I love it. I love it, and the fact that each of us have our own scenarios and keep going. But I'm part of that hashtag 1,000. I got to see it happen because no one else is going to come close to it. You got to let it happen.
Well, Walter, they came this far. Does it benefit? Yeah. I think I said this last week. Does it benefit them more by having Roman get it, or by having Cody being the one that stops him from getting it? That's they're going to have to flip a coin,
Like you said, with the merchandise and everything, it'll go crazy. I'll be the first in line to buy that $1,000. Whoa, hell no! That 1,000-day.
It would be $1,000 shirt.
No,
all right.
But it'll be awesome to do it, and I think Cody benefits more by the chase and being the one to defeat the 1,000 than stopping the 1,000.
Yep. Remember, if Cody wins, they still have the same dilemma where one guy has both titles, and maybe that's the future, right? Maybe they're not going to ever split them up.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Aaron, over to you. Don't know if any super chats came in, but have at it.
We do have a few super chats here. So Building Nexus sent in $2. It says, what if John Cena wins and drops the title to Jey Uso? I don't think that's happening. I don't think John Cena, number one, is doing more than one match. And if he's doing more than one match, he'll face Austin Theory in a rematch. So, no, I don't think Cena's getting involved with Jey Uso anytime soon. Psycho Jet Black sent in $5. Thank you for that. Says, what if after Roman loses the belt, Solo Sikoa takes out Roman and surprises him as the new head of the table and leads to the Usos, or to lead the Usos, and then Roman comes back as a babyface? What do you think about that, Virtue? Like, we talked about this before, like Roman possibly going back to being a face. Like, I mean, is that anything that's a possibility in the near future? Possibly?
No, I think he's having too much fun with this. So that's way down the road. So I don't see that anytime soon. I do expect Roman to be that organic babyface that Vince McMahon always wanted him to be when it's time. But not only is he over as a heel, I think he's comfortable and he's having fun and he loves the booze. So why not ride it out for as long as you can? So
the whole segment where he laid the belts out was just cut into Cody the entire time.
And
was some of the best work. Was some of the best work I've seen Roman ever do. It was great.
And it's hard to be a baby face and be on that schedule where you're not always there. Fans start getting angry about that, and Roman misses a lot of events, and so him being that character now, that cocky mob boss heel, I come and go as I please, works indefinitely. Why change that?
Yeah, and seeing Roman do this, it's almost like it makes you wonder, damn, what if they actually let Cena turn heel in that prime? Like, what could have happened? Like, if they let it happen, seeing what Roman did with it.
Yeah. John Cena never won the NoDQ.com Superstar of the Year. And I think if he had turned, he would have won it. But yeah, as Virtue might say, it caters to the certain niche audience that wants to see the heel John Cena. Babyface John Cena made WWE a lot of money, although there are those that would argue that John Cena also drove people away from WWE.
And we did get a heel Cena before he was a main eventer. So, we did get that Thugonomics heel before he became a babyface Thugonomics. He was a heel initially with that. So, he did have that, at least. You can go back and watch heel Cena, technically.
Right. So, I'll say this about Roman Reigns. I do not see him turning anytime soon. He's been basically gaslighting Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso, for that matter, over the past couple of years. And I think there's a whole story with those guys after they lose the titles. Now, I do see a split of the bloodline. I just don't know when that is going to be. I don't see it happening until after Roman drops at least one of the titles. Will that be WrestleMania? Will that be SummerSlam? That remains to be seen. But once Roman drops at least one of the titles, I do see that split starting to happen, and there's several ways it can go. Will Solo Sikoa side with the Usos, or will he side with Roman? It might be like an NWO Wolfpack, NWO Hollywood type of deal where they're split down the middle and, people are having to choose sides and that sort of thing. But I think they got to redo Jey Uso versus Roman Reigns at some point. They did it.
They have to run that back.
They have to run that back,
especially with Jey knowing more about Roman since being around him for so much longer now. It'll make the match that much more compelling and that much more competitive.
Absolutely. So I think in the end, Jimmy will stick with Jey. They'll go babyface. Maybe Solo stays heel. They can do the singles match, Jey versus Roman. They can do a tag match, the Usos versus Roman and Solo. And then maybe even eventually Solo leaves Roman Reigns and goes off on his own, and they can do Solo versus Roman. But the Bloodline, that storyline will continue over the next year for sure. I'm thinking next year's WrestleMania, it'll keep going, but they may be on opposing sides by next year's WrestleMania.
Solo on his own sounds redundant.
Yeah. Solo running solo.
It's a foreshadow.
And by the way, Mr. Tito, wrong again. Solo has been great. I think he has fit in so well. Like, I find it hard to believe that he was only in developmental for a short time. I feel like he came on and he feels like a guy who's been wrestling for like 10, 15 years.
He knows the assignment. Yeah, and he's coming off as almost like how you want to take Umaga seriously, but you really couldn't because you knew he was like Jamal from 3 Minute Warning.
But like, let's face it, like he's in a group with the Usos who are WWE like legends at this point of what they do in that ring. Roman has come into his own the last several years. Solo's gonna look the youngest, the greenest of all those legends. Like it's supposed to be that way.
Yeah, I mean, I see Solo winning the title.
Some people just have it, and he's one of the people that just have it.
And right, we're not saying he's being pushed as a main eventer right now. I'm talking about
it's going to be down the line, about at least a year.
Yeah,
people forget how young he is. They got years to deal with him.
And the dude just got married, so he's not going to want to be in a main event thing right now, anyhow.
And also another match they can do before things really go south with the Bloodline is you got a 6-man match, which you could potentially do on a premium live event. Roman Reigns and the Usos versus Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn, and Kevin Owens. That's a huge 6-man tag match you can do. Here we go. Psycho Jet Black. He's got more jokes for us. He sent in $2. Says, "What if Solo got a new tag team partner named Han?"
I'm done with the internet for today.
I think that's enough on that note. I think we're done.
That's enough internet.
All right. Well, look, another great show. Like we're heading into WrestleMania. And we really need to get to that like a couple weeks before, and we're getting there. So we're gonna go around, do our plugs, and maybe we'll get out of here, maybe we won't. But another great show, great topics, and Bloodline storyline still continuing strong. Jerry, welcome back on this episode. Thanks for coming here. We needed you tonight. What would you like to say in closing? Well,
first off, Big G's favorite wrestler here. Hold on a second.
Oh, wait a second.
All right. Listen here, Slapnuts.
That's
if you want to follow if you want to follow Jerry, go to Gerald_JSJ at Twitter, and also his Facebook group Armbar, all capital ARMBAR ! So you'll find me there, and on the occasion on here too. But like, it's very seldom I'm off on a Sunday night, and I'm glad I actually was able to do this because it's been a while and I've actually missed you guys. So, big ups to Colin. We hope to see you again soon, man. You take care of you. Take care of.
Thanks for being on. Oh, and Tito, Tito was saying that you were saying it would be Solo versus Roman. Well, weren't you saying down the road?
Yeah, like at least a year from now.
Yeah. I think he thought you meant like this year or something. I don't know.
No, maybe I mean they got a long time before they would get to Roman Reigns versus Solo. They got to do Roman Reigns.
He's
versus
playing
Jey
video
Uso
games as he's listening to us, so he's back and forth. He's probably missing some of the key points. So, all right, Walter Cruz, over to you.
All right, you can follow me on Instagram at Cowfire Farms. You can see the kind of content it is there. And also, I'm on Twitter at Walter Alex Cruz. And once again, thanks for having me up here. It feels good to be back.
All right. Pleasure as always. And of course, over to you, Aaron.
It was a pleasure to have Jerry Slaughter back. Thank you, Jerry. And of course, Walter, always great to have you on. And Virtue, thank you for hosting as usual. And Psycho Jet Black sent in $2. Thank you, Psycho Jet Black, for sending us your hilarious super chats here. Jeff Meacham versus Bray Wyatt in a hot dog eating contest. Why them in a hot dog eating contest? Just wondering.
Why Wyatt of all the wrestlers, right?
Yeah, like
of all the wrestlers.
I mean, why not Otis? Like, why didn't you pick on Otis?
Why did they need to be guys?
Why Jeff Meacham?
Yeah, like why
not like me or Jerry versus Bray Wyatt or somebody like that.
Yeah,
Very
like,
weird.
what are
Braun
you trying to say?
Strowman. But
I mean, Joey Chestnut.
Strowman could probably put some down though, if you think about it.
I mean, that guy.
well,
if
I
you
would
hear
pick,
about his
but I'm going to
meals-
pick. I think Bray Wyatt would beat Jeff Meacham because Uncle Howdy would come and choke out Jeff Meacham or something. So he couldn't finish his hot dogs. That's exactly what would happen, or the puppets or something would happen.
The hot
Yeah,
dogs
they-
would turn into some those worms and stuff in the middle of the contest.
Yeah, they'd have the CGI hot dogs that would grow eyes and a mouth, and they would bite Jeff in the rear
Start
end.
dancing across the table. Like, let's go out to the lobby.
Oh, they'll turn into the what's that movie? The hot dogs will turn into that sausage party.
Sausage party.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right, well, Psycho, you definitely got your $2 out of that. So
Mhm.
There you go.
stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest wrestling news and rumors as we get closer to WrestleMania 39. Thank you all again. Virtue, let's go ahead and wrap it up.
And be sure to go to NoDQ.com/merch and get shirts like this right over there. And that's it. I'm going to keep it simple and short. Follow me on Twitter at NoDQ_Virtue. And remember, at WrestleMania, Roman over Cody. For Aaron Rift, for Walter Cruz, for Jerry Slaughter, and the entire NoDQ crew and galaxy, thanks for watching, and we will see you again next time. Good night.
Jeff Jarrett's going to win.
That's
Roman's gonna reach 1,000.
JARRETT. Get it right.